Hi, welcome back to Practically Social. I'm your host and quarantine beard growing guide, Zachary. Thanks to everybody who's been supportive, subscribed, and given me feedback. I really appreciate it. This week on Episode 2, we're covering small talk starters, which is one of my most requested topics. Before we get to that, if you think you know how many social workers it takes to screw in a light bulb, hit subscribe and then leave your answer in the comments below. No cheating, Googlers. Alright, let's get started. A lot of people throughout the years told me they struggled with small talk, whether they're with strangers, family, coworkers, or even at a social event. They asked me, what am I supposed to say if I don't know what to say, or I don't really talk much anyway? Most people told me they try to steer clear from talking about the weather, politics, or religion, even COVID these days. They often wonder what they could talk about that might make gathering with others easier or lead to conversations. Recently, with the pandemic, some people I know told me they'd gotten out of practice talking with people in public. They even have some anxiety because of this, which is totally normal. Others consider themselves very introverted. Some have social anxiety or other mental illnesses that make communication difficult. And some are just trying to avoid the awkwardness that often accompanies being around people. So I present to you the Practically Social Small Talk Starter Pack. In our starter pack, we have 4 topics that are universal. No matter where you go, you're guaranteed to help make conversations easier. Before we get into the pack, let's talk about intros. Getting an introduction conversation going can be as simple as saying, "Hi, I'm Zachary. How are you?" Usually most people are polite and return the introduction. They might even ask you a question. If not, and you'd like to kick that conversation off, you can ask them a question. This could be related to the event you're attending. So what brought you here today? Or it could have something to do with what they're wearing, like, "Hey, I like those fancy shoes you have. They're super colorful." Sometimes this can get the other person talking for a bit, and you might not even have to say anything after that. Okay, so that's introductions. Now what you tuned in for, let's get to the starter pack. If I want to keep a conversation going, I'll usually break into what I call the Big 4, which, as I said previously, are guaranteed to generate conversation no matter where you are. What are the Big 4, you say? Family, pets, sports, food. You can talk about one, or you may get to all 4. There's options there. Let's start by asking about someone's family and location. Here's an example. "Hi, I'm Zachary. You from around here? You have any family in the area? Oh, where'd you grow up? What was that like? What's the best part about living there? Have you ever wanted to live anywhere else or lived anywhere else?" Something along those lines usually draws people in and gets them going. Next, we'll cover pets. "I have a dog, cat, iguana, monkey at home. Do you have any pets? Oh, what are their names? What breed is that? What do you like to do with them?" The next category could make for an easy way to get someone talking too. If you're a sports fan, you're not alone. They're everywhere. And you likely already have the skills for small talk in that department. If not, it can be a little tricky to try this one sometimes, but you can give it a shot anyway. Here's a pro tip for this one. Sometimes, if I know I'm going to a big gathering, I'll check the local news online before I leave the house. That way I can catch up on something sports related, such as who's playing in major games or headlines about various players. I'm not even really into sports, but it is helpful. Things I like to ask others related to that are, "What sports are you into?" If they say none or "I'm not really into sports," I can use one of the other topics in the starter pack. If they say, "Oh, I'm into blank," then I can say, "Nice. How's your favorite team been doing?" I can also say things like, "I like hockey, and my favorite team's the Blackhawks." Or, "I love going to baseball games. I'd love to go see the Dodgers play again soon." I know, some of you are judging my team picks here. That's fine with me. I stand by them, and you do you. Alright, so we've got 3 topics covered so far, and if for some reason you're striking out at small talk after trying some of these, we have one universal topic left to try, which is food, my favorite. Since food is so basic to our survival and most social gatherings involve some type of food, I think it's a great way to get conversation going with someone. If you're at a restaurant or bar, you can always ask someone, "What looks good on the menu? Have you had the blank at this place before?" If you're at a wedding, you might say something like, "Did you have any of the hors d'oeuvres?" Sometimes I travel and I might be in a place full of strangers, though that doesn't usually last long. I'll try to get somebody excited by talking about food and asking them what their favorite restaurants are in town. I might also be more specific and say, "You know where I can get any good Mexican food or Indian or sushi?" This usually gets people talking about it and can lead the conversation or your appetite in all kinds of directions. The other place you might want to try the small talk starter related to food would be at a party where people brought their own. You could say something like, "Wow, there's so much food over there. What looks good? Did you bring something? Maybe I'll try that." So there you have it, the big 4 small talk starter pack. Think of them as the appetizer that might bring you a feast of conversation, if that's what you're looking for. Though I'm sure I didn't cover everything in detail, I trust there's some inspiration in there and you'll remember. You might even want to use a mnemonic to remember them. Let's see, family, pets, sports, food, which spells FPSF. I'm sure some of you can come up with a better one than that. How will you remember them? Folks, leave a comment below, and if you haven't already, subscribe for weekly videos related to therapy, self-help, and social issues. Finally, part of the main focus here at Practically Social is to help people who struggle with being social. That's how the channel got its name. If you're struggling with socializing, I'd like to encourage you to try some of these techniques. Even if you're shy, I'm confident they can be a win-win for you. Remember that being a little daring socially sometimes can bring massive opportunities in our lives, and it's often fear that holds us back. When I feel discouraged, I ask myself or tell myself, there is no failure, just feedback. Thanks for joining us today. Till next time, I hope you'll try the practical approach to being social. Let us know how these techniques work for you, and join us next week.